Okay, let's get into this. Hello, everyone. My name's Sugi Yamagawa, and today on VTubing My Slow Life Hobbies in My 30s, we are going to be finishing this cold frame build. So, I'm going to be perfectly honest right out of the gate. I'm a little bit nervous going into this because the big thing we have to do today is I got 2x4's here notched, and I have others down below me, and we have to put notches in for my glass to set in. Because today's game plan, the game plan for how I want to build this top, which do I have? Oh goodness gracious! Let's see here. Okay, sweet. So here is the general idea. Original idea called for using acrylic. I opted to not use acrylic because acrylic was a bit out of budget for me. It was a little too expensive. So, because I spent $60 on glass, whereas the acrylic was going to be over $100. Very much more expensive. Wasn't super happy with that game plan. So we're going in with glass, and what I want to do, I want to create a notch, and instead of 2x4's, the 2x4 frame, and have the glass panels sit inside the notch I make, and then I'll cover up all the seams with trim. 1x4 trim is the game plan for the lid. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this down, and so I have this piece of scrap lumber here, and basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a notch with this. So I'm personally feeling a little bit on the nervous side because I've got to put notches, these 6-foot long pieces of material. It's a pretty long rip. So I'm going to start small, make sure I have a good result at the small level before I go to the big stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and I will start with height. No, my depth cut. Oh. I want it to be a little bit more than 1/4. Just gonna involve which actually I'm just gonna go run with that. I want my notch to be 1.75 inches in, because I want there to be a fair amount of wood surface to support the glass. So, notch, 1.75 inches in. Keep track of measuring that. Lock it in. Grab the thing that keeps my hands away from the spinny blade. And let's go. Oh boy. The table saw is not going to work without power. And now we can hit the go button. Oh. That's going to be the notch. Well, that's going to be like the start. And I think that's a little long. Notch. Oh no, notch is perfect. So, you're about inch 3/4 in. Low time. X. This is going to be the height. This is actually the one that's going to... This is the one that's going to make me nervous. Because when I'm making this cut, I have my piece of wood on my table, very stable, very secure. Whereas when I'm making cuts on this side, I have a lot less of the block in contact with my table. So I'm going to definitely be using my help guide the block through. I also should, so for this cut, I should also be using my push stick as well. I am genuinely kind of scared at how well I've eyeballed my measurements so far. Okay. This one, I need to bring my fence very far in. A little bit more of a cut. As I complete the notching at the table saw, it's create a small little piece of free wood, and see how this turns out. Okay. So, downside is my notch, it didn't go all the way through. I gotta raise. Oh, we're gonna set, try again. Okay. There we go. This is basically what I'm trying to achieve. Nice, like, little recessed thing. Yeah, I got it short. Ideally, that little gap there for glass, which actually seems like a real nice... Okay, oh no, I'm... The dangerous thing right now is I'm feeling optimistic. Roughly about what I want, and I'm pretty sure I got a reasonably good amount of depth. I probably got way too much depth, but that's fine. I'm actually gonna take this over to my glass right quick and just kind of see how... Just place this block onto the edge and see how it feels. Okay, so wide area support, good. Depth, not so much. So I definitely need to be a lot shallower with my depth cut, but I think might be okay. Great little. We'll have these little offcuts on the side, so worry about those. Next up is going to be doing. Actually, let's go ahead and we'll build up. We will not start aggressively, but we'll just start small and we'll go from there. So I've got a couple. Go ahead and start with these two. So Actually, that's kind of a nice thing about pre-making this little thing off of scrap pieces. I can kind of dial my settings at the... I think for these two guys will be our first victim. So, what the game plan for these two boards is, I have 4 of these 2x4's. And what I want to do, I want to shrink them down. We're going to basically notch both sides. And what the game plan for that is, we will basically make it less tall. Technically speaking, the safer way to do this would be to do this at my hand planer, which is somewhere over behind me. But I don't want to do that for various reasons. Well, I just honestly don't want to bust out the hand planer to take a 1/4 inch off these two boards. I'm already using the table saw to take 1/4 inch material off boards. So, and what I'm going to do with these, my table saw set at this height, I'm going to run these two boards through once, then I'm going to flip this around, run it through it again, and then that's going to cut both sides. Granted, the thing is, with this style of cut, how the cut's being done, you're creating, cut off from that, is you're creating a free piece of wood between the rotating blade and your fence. So I kind of might think of the reverse, where I want to put my workpiece this. No, my workpiece is, well, say this is my fence and this is my workpiece. My workpiece is here and my offcut's off to the side. So when I do my first cut, go through, flip it over again, do the second cut. This remaining piece, this falls off, and it can pull away from the blade. That would be the safer way to do it. And I'm the safe, because this is the hard part for me. Because once we get 6 2x4's notched, all I have to worry about then is dimension. Well, all I have to do at this point is actually start assembling the pieces. I was really debating whether or not I wanted to do this bit of work off stream, but I just didn't get around to it because I was doing like other things, like so for like some of the holding pieces, like these. So these 2x4's are gonna be what hold our slat sides together. This is what we're gonna like drill them into to create like the support. I wanted to put a bevel angle on this so that way when the lid's done, the lid has this bevel to hang on, which in the original plans doesn't call for that. But I'm doing this because I'm using glass. The glass is going to be heavier than acrylic, and I want to create more support for that frame. So take the vision from the last thumbnail with a big grain of salt, because constantly revising what I'm doing here. So let's go ahead and notch some. Actually, safety devices. Woohoo! Ah, ooh, look at that. That's pretty. That's lovely. Here we go. I think. Where's my measure? My measuring device. I gotta take a measurement. Yeah, this plus the curve from the saw blade should be a good measurement. Also, I have a real nice piece of cedar paneling for. This would actually be something good for like maybe like a drawer bottom or something for another project. So we're gonna put you in the off place of. I look forward to using you on another project. Now I did make the executive decision to not use my dust collection for today. I might regret that choice, but I do at least have my air purifier running. So we've got one of our 6 work pieces done. I'm going to put it off to the side because I have a bit more of a clear outfeed for my second piece. But yeah, we'll do next piece. Okay. Another beautiful cedar panel. And once again, another beautiful quarter 2x4. Woo. I am abusing the living hell out of myself. So, we now can move these next pieces. So, what I want to do, and this is kind of like an important thing, is now that I roughly have my like table saw set up how I want it, I want to make sure I am very particular about maintaining my settings and the consistency of my settings. So, while I have it set up like this, I'm going to take the time to kind of sort of, well, how do I put this? Map out where I wish to be on my project. The big thing here is these, I just had to make these 2x4s here off to the side behind me. Those just had to be a little bit shorter because these are actually going to. So I have 3 panes of glass, and I'm going to have 2 glass seams. So for these 2 here, one half of glass panel is going to sit on one side, and then the other glass panel is going to sit on the other half. And this is going to support both sides, so that way the glass. Basically, I want to create an entire perimeter of support for my glass. What I'm doing here is, with these, is I want to mark the sides I want my notch to be. So you might notice on this piece here, we have this corner. It's like really busted out. So for this, I'm wanting to take my notch out of this side, so that way I can eliminate as much of that corner as possible. So to keep myself straight, I've got painter's tape. And that arrow marks the side that I want the notch to go. This one, I'm conversely going to point it, the arrow, in the other direction from the first. One of these is going to go on one side of the frame, and then the other is going to go. It is at this point in the project where it's real important for you to keep track of your pieces and what you're doing with your pieces. Because it's really easy. So in the case of these two things, I really gotta make. I feed it through my table saw like this. Actually, tape is away, offcuts away. This is to keep me from making mistakes, because one thing that has hampered me on projects in the past has been I'll get a little too caught up in working, and I won't be paying attention as to how all my pieces will fit together in the main project. That I rely on painter's tape and marks a whole lot. Other woodworking people will just pencil on the wood. I like using painter's tape because I think it's a lot easier for me to just rip the piece of painter's tape off when I'm done versus actually take the time and effort to erase like pencil marks. These two, I am only going to make one of the two cuts. That's going to be the depth cut. This cut, putting this face right here. I'm only going to make that cut with this on these two. And then we're going to do it to the long ones. And then we're going to set up the table saw to make the final cut. So, I'm going to get working. There we go. Oh, that. Our efforts. We have two cuts. And I currently have a corner of sawdust in the air and eventually lungs. Oh. That's those two. Woo. Now, time for the big boys. Big gals. Oh, I'm trying to interview my boards. What I mean by interview my boards is I want which one of these sides I want to face up. The side that faces up is the side that's going to get the notch. I decided to go with this and got more color on this side. And the point of having the more color side be the side that I'm putting my notch in, that's going to be the side that's going to be in contact with the glass. So, by having a little bit more of what's the heartwood of the tree be on the glass side, it's going to just rot better because I'm sure there's going to be water that will condensate on the glass and then want to run down the thing. So I make sure what I can to keep everything like preserved and nice. I've marked sides of these notch. Round. So, I have to ask you all to please be patient for a second. I have a utility cart. I've got some of my work that I've cut up earlier. I'm going to take that and move it to the other side so that way I have something there that will catch these. The table saw. I actually want to do, make sure you always push your boards through. Kind of let them. It's actually a really good chance to like grab them. I was kind of doing the same with like some of these cuts on these guys, but these are big pieces. I want to I want to exercise as much caution as possible. I'm going to do that. Could be good. One more thing. Perfect. Okay. Actually, we'll turn up the gain on my mic. I might have been a little quiet here today. And take another sip of some lovely tea. Okay. So. Okay. Let's start work on the big boards. Woo! Okay. So for some weird reason, board 1, when this went through, it did not hit the boards on top of my little thing. Second one did for some reason. Bad. But well, the big cut's done. So yay, safety and such. So I now got to think about which, honestly, it's best with these bad boys, because I need to make my next cut here. That way, this offcut is away, because you don't want your offcuts to ever be between the blade and the fence. Never want that to. You never want to do that. So, with that thought in mind, one, I get to lower my blade, which this is actually one of the things I'm kind of excited about. I get to drop my blade, and that means I get a lot less exposure to sharpness. But I am, well, let's see. Okay. So I'm going to actually take my scrap, and I'm going to run it through my blade to double check my height. Okay. And that's my current setting right there. So if I take this, bring it up to one of my previous pieces, I can a little bit of side. Granted, the funny thing is, I think I can go lower, but I would want to. I'm gonna measure it out with the good old measure stick thing. That's probably a solid 3/8 from this. That's 3/8, so. So I could probably drop my blade just a little bit. But otherwise I should be fine. Okay. So, let's see here. Now I gotta worry about making sure I have the right distance. I think if I measured everything right, I might actually be pretty good. But we'll see. I want to be just... because I want to be inch 5/8. I think inch 5/8. It looks like. What do I have here? Oh wow! I might be able to actually run with these. Okay, so I think we'll go ahead and We'll go ahead and send this first victim through. We'll just evaluate, make sure after the board's through. We'll just check everything out, check the workpiece out, and if we're good, we can start sending our other pieces through. Oh! Well, that was a bit of a whoopsie. Okay. That's an easy fix. So, that's pretty good. Granted, the good thing about what I just did. My mark was off, but my height looks pretty solid. Pretty optimistic with my reset settings, so we'll try it again. Yay! Got this wonderful off-cut piece here. We'll add it to the pile. And there we go. We have a notch with a bonus groove. The bonus groove was not intended to happen, but that's actually going to provide a lot of support for the glass. So, go ahead and start working through these. And another beautiful cedar yardstick. Yeah, that would actually make a pretty decent yardstick. Oh! Oh man, look at that. Blade burns are not so encouraging, but otherwise, I'm happy with how the work pieces are turning out so far. So... now we get to do the big boys. Woohoo! Look at that! Look at them piece of wood! Woody. Oh! Oh god. Oh man, my decision to not go with dust collection for today is gonna reap the appropriate consequences. But I'm at the point where I've only got one more cut to make. So let's persevere for gardening. Oh! Wait. What happened? Oh. That's like sticky. Why not? Most of the way up. Oh! We had just a few sticky bits. I'm I want to set you over there. Oh. Gosh, look at it. Look at it, chat. It's a groove. 2x4. Gonna hold glass. But yeah, I'm excited right now. I'm actually really, really, really excited right now. So, I'm gonna go ahead and drop my blade. And even more so, disconnect power. Because now it's really safe to be around the table. And disengage my fence, take that off. Oh dear, okay. So, I now gotta sort through my pieces, because what I want to do is kind of try and keep all my pieces straight. Because we are now done with cutting and prep work for the build. Let's put these pieces on. I'm going to take these to the far side of the shop. And that can go down there. But yeah, so I will be using the table saw as a place to assemble. I might grab a piece of I got some scrap pieces of OSB that I'll probably throw on this just to make my life a little bit easier for me. And yeah, but I also, oh yeah, that's the reason why. Okay, now, well, I now have just remembered why well, actually, I can kind of show you the reason why I haven't used my sawdust. Kind of. Oh, I gotta bring this a little bit more in. You might just be able to see it. Yeah, you can just barely see it. My sawdust collection bucket is absolutely full right now. So, I'm going to blame my lack of using dust collection on the fact I haven't emptied the dust collector. So, I have something to blame. But, I know it's probably a little bit early, but I actually have to use the restroom. So, when I get back from my little homesteader rooms break, I'll get a piece of wood thrown on here. I'm going to actually start bringing some of these pieces a bit close. Well, some of those pieces way over there. I'm going to bring those a little bit closer, and then we can actually start throwing this project together. So, I'm going to be right back. Okay. I'm back. Actually, we can bring this a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so. Good news. All the pieces are cut. And I'm hydrating. But yeah, so. Let's see here. Yeah, we're going to start with you guys. So. What we're going to do now is we're going to build the sides. So we're going to be working with these two. They have angles. Angles got to go the same direction, sort of. Well, actually, we'll need you, because... Ooh. Actually... Excuse me, sorry, I'm thinking. Old man's thinking right now. So. Yeah, we'll do something like that. Actually, we'll do something like this. Yeah, okay. What old man is thinking of. Now this is the this is kind of the tricky part for me, but if I get this part right, I've made a big win. Two, just a fair bit of my angle exposed. Trying to get this like basically as perpendicular as I can. This piece I want to do there, and then make sure I'm up with that up top. Best of my ability. The fun thing about assembling pieces on stream, I'm always the best viewing. That feels reasonable. Oh, yeah, okay, good enough to actually start. We're gonna start working. For this part of assembling, we're going to be using 2-inch screws because these are kind of my go-tos. You have a lot of options here for screws. You could use 2-inch. You could use 1.5 because you're only going through 1 3/4 piece and two. Well, the sides are 3/4, but we're also going into like a 2-inch. Now doing my classic, trying to figure out how big of a pre-drill I need to do. Oh, yay big. So now, when you're especially like thinner pieces of wood, like this thin, it's always a good idea to pre-drill. And I'm also I will go ahead and actually, I'm gonna do a lot of bit switching. Ooh. At this juncture, simply due to the fact that I feel like this is the best way to do things. Mostly because because I put a lot of work into trying to get all this like dialed into the right spot. So once I get a screw in it, it kind of like helps hold it in place. So as you can see, I have a lot of 2x4 down here to put screws into. I am going to get a line of pieces on the back, which actually, if I'm being really smart about what I'm about to do, I will go ahead and look at my schematic for the cold frame. Just because I want to... Okay, yeah, it's going to... So, yeah. So, my back pieces are going to go flush against that. So, I want to put my screws for these sides a bit farther in. So that way, that way when I do screws from this side, my screw's gonna dodge the screws I got going in from this side. Sorry if I am yammering a little bit too much about that, but I try to sort out the details in my head as I go along. But yeah. Each one of these pieces is going to get 3 screws in them. And yeah. And that's going to help hold them. I'm not going to get any screws. Actually, I should. That rough. Actually not critical. Okay. That will do. That will do. But yeah, we're actually now. I can now finally transition into the. I am now actually assembling the project versus having to do somewhat dangerous things with a table saw. I always enjoy this. It's a little bit more work from me as a yammering streamer at this juncture, but this is also kind of like project starts to take form part of what I do. I really enjoy this phase of the process. Of what I do. Nice. Granted, it's gonna be real nice once I get once I get a few screws on the other side, because then this is gonna be like really held together really well. I think I can actually like go ahead and start working on that end. I should have made the front one a little bit longer. I try to get as close to perfect as I can. So what happened with this first one is I actually got too close to this split I have. And I was like, whoa, I gotta back off it. Because if I were to drill that split and then drive a screw through it, I could end up splitting the lumber. And that is an undesirable outcome. Oh. Oh. That's away from my split. Very important detail. Okay, so things are gonna get a little bit fancy now. Because I don't have enough wood here to drill that. So, game plan, I'll switch this around for you guys. How stable is that? How reasonably stable is that? Not super stable. I wonder if I can lean something. Oh, that would do it. That little nook do for me. Okay, well, I'm just gonna have to keep a hand on this then. So, what we're gonna do now I have a long taper here. Now that I've got a hand... So, I'm going to do my first screw right around in here. It's really important to do the screw somewhere where you have a decent amount of, like, wood. Because if I were to put my screw way down here, I would just split the wood. It would not work. And now this is where using 2-inch screws is going to really benefit me. And I think, honestly, I'm just going to go with the 2 screw holes for now. Granted, I am at the point where I have one hand that is constantly committed to holding this up, and a free hand. So it's going to be a little awkward, but this is why if you have a partner in crime to help you with stuff, this is a good time for that. And there we go. Do the next one. And there we go. Now, the thing I do want to take a moment to point out while I try to find a place to set my drill down is no wood splitting. Look, chat, no wood splitting. Good job. I do a good job sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. So, I can take this now, flip it around, and I will grab my last. I have a bit here I want to recover. But yeah. And this is going to be the last piece. So somewhere around here. So my bottom does not, I don't have quite as much support all the way to the bottom. What I'm probably going to do is I'm going to do like 2 screws at like slight bendy angle thing. And then we'll do a couple. We'll try to get 3 on this side. If I can't, then we'll just try. We will do our best. Also, I think 2 screws should be plenty, but I kind of, it's kind of fun to over-engineer your stuff, so I like to go in with 3. And if you are successful with your pre-drill and you drive your fastener in fairly deeply and your wood doesn't split, congratulations, you did a really good job with your pre-drill. And I'm also just trying to get these fasteners to where they're like nice and flush. That's in line with my aesthetics. My personal aesthetics and how I think I want things to look. Yeah, we'll do right about here. Okay. Well, it looks like I'm going to be successful in that endeavor. Do. One. Yay! I'm constantly fighting for places to sit things. Constantly. Always. Every time I build something. But yeah, there we go. This is actually going to be our first full side piece. So I'm going to be So I'm actually fairly happy with my angles. This is actually that's actually going to be a pretty good angle. I think that's going to actually let in a lot of sunlight. You might notice. Let's grab our polka doodles. That some of my this I should have made a little bit longer. I actually should have made that a little bit longer, but unfortunately, I was also following the original specs. And the original specs called. Technically speaking, this should have been lower, where it was only supporting the first two boards. But I did not do that because since I'm going to be going with a glass top for my raised bed here, I wanted to bring it up to the point where this was even with all this. Well, all this was all even together. So that way I have as much wood as possible supporting the top and my glass. So, yeah. This is the first side. Done. Assembled. Assembled! Okay. So, take this. And put it there. And I'm going to sip water because I'm thirsty. I like to hydrate, man. Okay. So, I've got my piece here, my long piece here. We will have that face towards the side, yeah. So we'll do something like that. Piece. Go some stairs. Over roundabout there's. Grab an angle piece. Now the angle piece determine that. So once that feels reasonably flush, and it looks reasonably straight against the back of against the back of this 2x4. I am literally doing a lot of what I'm based off. But I'm happy with that. So go ahead and grab my handy dandy Makita-kun. And we're gonna start putting some drill holes in this. And I'm going to be aggressively optimistic. Oh. And I'm going to pre-drill all 3 of the holes for this part. Yoo-hoo! And then we're going to swap out, and I'm going to zip the 3 screws in. Now, some people might be wondering why I'm not pre-drilling like all my holes and then zipping stuff down. Well, it's because I like to work in I like to work in stages and steps. That makes it a lot easier for me to catch mistakes and like work from them. So, say for example, I zip those 2 screws in there. This isn't going to wiggle in reference to this. So at this point, I am taking my fingers and I'm checking my sides, make sure that they're flush with each other. And they are. So that's good. That anchored. I can now this and position this into this using this side as a reference. And I can start drilling my holes here, fasten this, and then we can go down to this side of the world, and then we can work down there. So, yeah. But yeah. Not gonna lie, like, pre-stream today, I was feeling pretty unmotivated to stream. I was ultra nervous about doing those notch cuts on the 2x4's. but they actually turned out well, which I'm like, yay! I did something for the first time on stream and did okay. I try. I am very cautious with anytime I do a new thing with my like table saw or with like any of my saws, because the thing is when like you're like doing like when you're being public, not only can people see your mistakes, which hey, I got one down there that I can see right now. Another thing is I don't want to be the type of person who like sets like a bad precedent or encourages people to or shows people a way to work that's not safe. I really want to avoid that at all costs. Woohoo! Work on it. But yeah, so far so good. And I primarily say that because I have yet to split any of my boards so far. So I really want to keep up my momentum on that. Bada bang, bada boom. Okay, now we get to do the awkward part. Whatcha? Which I'm gonna. Oh yeah, that'll be fine. That'll be plenty fine once I drive it in. Ooh, can I get away with it? Maybe. Being a little over optimistic here, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay. Now I want to get reasonably aggressive with the pre-drilled holes on these. Simply because simply because these are going to be what's going to be holding the bottom end of the raised bed, the cold frame, into the piece. So we'll get this first one here on the thicker. There we go. Went in beautifully. Let's see if we can get another one done. Bada bang, bada boom. Okay. Oh. So far, we're looking pretty good for this side of the frame. Oh, I'm going to set it here. Oh, yeah. It looks great. Yeah. And I'm going to continue to set copious amounts of water because I've got a lot of sawdust in my hair right now. Granted, I'm not freezing this time. I was actually freezing last time. Well, last time I was working on the build on stream, partly because my shop gets cold when it gets cold outside. Prior to getting set up for stream and such, my shop was at 57 degrees. Fahrenheit. Right now it's at 61. 61 is actually quite tolerable for me. But like mid 50s is a little chilly. But yeah, because I don't have as much length with my 2x4, I do have to be a little bit more extra with my... How do I put this? Like the... I gotta have them closer together. I can't space them out as much as I would like. Up in there. And... Yeehaw! Granted, I'm flush. Oh yeah, I'm like perfectly flush. Back. It's the only problem. I have a slight problem where this front one is a little too far out. So that might bulge my board out a little bit, but I should be able to be... I should be okay. We will see, though. Okay. Got my 2 screws. We'll set side. And screws it. That's a 1. Woo! Okay. So I've now built 2 of my sides for the raised bed. So I'm gonna try and do a thing. Try and position 1 here. What I want to do, ideally, is get this reasonably set up like this, so that way I can bring my other boards in, and yeah, that's great. Thank you, OSB board. Thank you. Oh man. Oh. Oh yeah. Hey. Oh man, this is gonna be a big project. Oh man, this is big. This is big. Be able to do that, but wow. Sorry, I'm just a little I'm just kind of sizing things up right now, and yeah, it's gonna be a fun time moving forward. This is gonna be a real fun time. Because I gotta keep hands on things, otherwise things are gonna move, and even though I gotta keep hands on things, I still gotta get work done. Not fun. But am oh, Not expecting that outcome. Okay. So. This first screw is critical. It's very critical because, well, the simple fact of the matter is I do not have, honestly, enough work. I don't have enough workbench for this bad boy. Is my problem. That is my problem. So, I need to get this one screw in. The point where it kind of holds things together. Now, it's kind of held together right now. But I have to straighten it out a little bit before I send in my second and third screws. So right now I'm just having fun. Because, yeah, this is just a hair bit precarious. But I think I'll be fine. I think I'll be fine. It's honestly going to be hardest with this bottom board. Because with the bottom board basically has no support. Whereas when I get to the top board, the board above this piece here is actually going to be supported by it. So I'm going to go over there and grab it. And almost basically like that, I'm pretty much good. My lengths are reasonably equal. And then this is mostly going to hold itself together, but I'm going to go a step further. And grab a clamp. Which, honestly, I should have grabbed this. I probably should have grabbed this. Help hold this in that position. And with that, I can actually pre-drill all 3 of my screws. Right here and now. Now, granted, one of the fun things about using 2-inch screws is a 2-inch will actually have enough room to actually get into this 2x4 a little bit. So, for this top one, I'm actually going to send in a screw into that. So the top one is going to be held with a screw here into this piece, a screw down here, and then like kind of a center one into the other side. That over a little bit. Gotta deal with a little bit of a knot, but that's fine. It is a simple thing to deal with. Compared to the awkwardness of some of the other aspects of this build, it's literally nothing. It is literally nothing. And I'm loving my clamp right now. This clamp is literally making my life so much easier right now. So much easier. And actually, with those two, I can disengage the clamp. Because the clamp's a little bit too close to one of my drill holes here on the side. So I just want to free it up a little bit, you know? And do. And then that's a screw going into my 2x4 here. Oh. We've got a whole corner done. Yay! Pop, 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 pop. Hydration! Okay. Oh. Now comes the fun part of how do I... What's the next thing I want to do with this? So, I can do a lot of things with it. I am going to go ahead... OSB Coon was a real MVP. What I want to do is drop him. Ah. Okay, so this bed is going to be a lot bigger than initially envisioned. A lot bigger than I initially. So, because, oh wow, like, might have to straighten this out a little bit. That's. I raise you up. You. Now, the problem is I have a thing that is a lot bigger than my table, and I have to figure out how to build it while keeping it on the table. And that was... Okay. Oh man, I think I could make. I was kind of hoping to just start tacking on sides and go from there, but my life is not going to be that optimistic. I need more support for the other side, but yeah, I'm just going to have to think for a moment here. Yeah. Like, this thing is a lot bigger than I initially... I mean, I should have honestly knew it was going to be a large thing. Granted, I also have a slight issue where I have a slight bowing in this, but... I think that will get mostly worked out. I can work that out. Honestly, I could probably add like a 2x4. But... I do not have a lot of... I do not have the level of support surfaces that I was initially hoping. And that is a thing with these large builds, is they're always really awkward in one dimension, and that's going to be the long side. Because I was wanting to put this piece on. But theoretically do it like that. I could also theoretically do it like that. Ooh. Those are ideas, but I don't like those. And I support it on the on Miter Salcoon. I could support it on Miter Salcoon. Honestly, I know my answer. I know my answer. So, I'm going to have you look at my workbench while I work on my answer. Know what I need to do. And I think I'm correct. But the problem is I also have to clear a whole bunch of pieces off my workbench right now, because They're in my way. We've got so many things in the way. Get you guys to go further. Thank you very much. All these. Got a lot of interesting cuts off today. So you guys might be seeing a little bit of my vision. So problem is I only have like so much room to work with. So and I've messed up. I have messed up, unfortunately. I have put my... Because I built... Yep, that's what I did. I built both... Okay, well, I have found out I have also messed up. So, we will go ahead and start by fixing screw up. Somewhat. It's somewhat reasonable. Oy, oy. Okay, so... What has occurred is these two, well, my 2x4's, they are on this side of my pieces. They are on this side. They need to be on this side. So I gotta, anything that is holding the 2x4 needs to have, I need to have the screws taken out. So it's pretty minor. Grand scheme of things, but still a little bit of like, that's a whoopsie. But I'm gonna move these one at a time, so that way I can, because I'm gonna have my other 2x4, it's going to basically be holding them. So that's free. I get to turn it around now. Because it was here. I want it to be here. This. We do this. Granted, means I'm going to have the wrong side panel. I want to flip my panels. I want these to be... Wait, is there... There might be a galaxy brain way to do this. I can flip my pen. No, I don't need the top one. That. Wait a second, wait a second, wait a second, wait a second. I want this to be the outside. So I want this to be my inside. Wait. No, I don't. Oh dear. I am trying to think of so many things, because one thing, the brown side, I want that to be on... I want to have the pretty colors on the other side. And... trying to think about how to put my pretty colors on my outside, while also fix my screw up, and... I am overloading my brain doing. So, yeah, I should not be overloading my brain to make sure that the pretty side that's going to be pretty for like a month, right side. That is a mistake. We are going to be following in the principles of KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Oh. I'm not going to be worried about pre-drilling the holes all the way through to my 2x4. Mostly because the 2x4 is kind of thicker. So it will... It's not as likely to split as these 1-inch boards are. The 1-inch boards are more likely to split. Granted, those screws are being a little bit hard to drive. But there we go. Granted, we gotta take 9 out on this side. We gotta do 9 on this side. And you know what? I could probably give you guys a little. Since we're in the middle of fixing a screw up. Oh yeah, it's definitely not worth trying to chase perfection at this juncture. Because we're an hour and a half through the stream, and we still got quite a bit of assembling to do. And wait, did I advertise this as being like the final for the build? I think I did. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know. Yeah, I did. Why did I do that to myself? Okay. So screws are out. I should have a free 2x4 down there. I do. Yeah, I do. This. Round. We will start adjusting this to where we want it, and then adjust our height, our length. This really wants to. This one really wants to like push. Really determine where things are going. Granted, it's not gonna be pretty easy once I get this first screw in, but until then, my left hand is committed to keeping this where it's at. Okay. And there we go. I'm sick. Almost sick. Think. Just that unaskew. I think that's about as close as I'm gonna get for now. And I'm gonna just focus on getting as close as I can get because, well, yeah. So, I have this, you can kind of see I got a bit of a slight gap. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start, squeeze, and drive it home to keep that gap as small as possible. And for now, all I gotta do is all my screws. And I have successfully fixed a kerfuffle of my own creation. And one more. Yay! Okay, now time for hydration. And we can actually start to properly think about actually putting this together. So I think I'm actually going to utilize Clamp Coon for this. I also want to, if I can, kind of want to manipulate my my work desk to accommodate this piece. Because what I gotta do... Okay, that's what I gotta do. That piece has gotta go like... something like... that. Oh. But yeah, we're basically in... This is really awkward territory. Woo! Because, yeah, that's where we're at. Always get awkward. Sugi Yamagawa always decides to build a very large thing. In which case, his gardening bed does qualify as a very large thing. So, jump on this. I think. Okay, sweet. The good news is for you guys, you guys at least kind of get to have a view here, which I actually was not anticipating you guys to have at this juncture. Okay. Guess what? Look at this kind of season action. Okay, so I've got screw holes pre-drilled for all my tops. Well, all the ones for the top board. So go ahead and grab some screws here and we'll go ahead and get this assembled. Because, yeah, it's very fun. I don't know. Honestly, I shouldn't be thinking about things that aren't quite my problem just yet. There we go, and one more. There we go! Well, that's half of the install of this corner. Fill everything, make sure it's good. And we're gonna just keep going in. Let me see about that one. Yep, that one was too low. Because I got a lot of, well, I got a lot of I have a lot of paying attention to where it's really hard for me to do so. So, yay! Okay, one. Supers! Can I do a third? There we go. That is I've got 3 of my sides put together. Clamp can come off now. Now, looks is reasonably good. Now, the big question, can I make this silly, dumb dream that I'm trying to make come true? So, you guys can't really see a lot of what's going on. Be a little tricky. Yeah. Pieces of wood. Yeah. But I'm gonna have to get one side of the world done. Here, I can focus on like squaring it up in the other dimension. Okay. So, I need some water. I figured out what's gonna happen. So we're gonna come up, and we're gonna be working on this corner. And then once we get this, so what we need to do is I need to start getting some boards on this corner. Because I need to pull this square. I don't have it square right now. And I am going to get it square, though. It's just going to be really difficult. To get it square how I want it to. So I'm trying. The game plan is get all my sides on one side 100% secure. And then once I have all those pieces on one side secure, I can then start the other side. Because now I've got this. This is attached to my side here. And I can add it. Do that, but I think I'm reasonably happy with how I got things. Question I have for myself now is, do I do the other side, which will get it basically squared up, and then start, you know what? Yeah, I should do the other side. So, sorry chat, I'm gonna disappear to the far side of the world. Actually, can I bring you to the far side of the world with me? Because we're going to the far side of the world. We're gonna be over there. That. You guys kind of be able to see a little bit of the act. Step 1 is gonna be getting from where I want it backward. Have a Sounds like this at third man. But that's also what. Ooh-wee! Okay, I think I may have got that. Ho 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 ho. Okay, so I do want to bump this down. So and good. Perfect! Yes! Okay, now I just gotta get as possible. Oh boy. Once I get one screw, that holds it. And it's not being held by just a clamp. But I am gonna get 2 more screws into it before I start, clamping things up. Well, taking the clamp. Okay, yep. Ooh. Three. And we did it! Yeah! Oh. Okay. Okay, so if everything turned out well, I did do a clamp and nothing happened. Woo-hoo! Oh man. And isn't this starting to look like a full frame mount? Man, this thing is like massive though. I don't think. I don't know. I'm starting to get doubtful if I'm gonna or on another stream, but that's perfect there. I already have some screws down here, and since you guys are already down here, I'm gonna just hang out down here as I get these. Oh, no. Oh, this thing really wants to move on me. Okay. Okay. I see how you are. Got an elbow on you. Ew. And with one screw, it's not going to go anywhere. Woohoo! Yay! So I'm gonna come on down to. Now that I've got a little bit more of a. Well, honestly, I'm just gonna hang out down here. We're gonna work on getting this attached. And I'm gonna definitely be going a little overboard with my screws simply because, well, that's what I want to do. So the center board's gonna get 4 screws. 2 are gonna go into from this piece into the piece on that, and then 2 are gonna go into the 2x4. With the 2x4s being a little bit more stout, they're more likely to resist the forces that the cold frame's going to be in. So, we're going to see about how things go with that. But, compared to where we were at one point to where we are at now, I am certainly very happy with it. I am certainly very happy with things. Because, I mean, hey, we pretty much have the bones of a cold frame right now. It's just the only thing because I don't know if I'm going to do the lid. That's going to be... I have some doubts about that. I just want to leave it alone. I might want to leave it alone. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Oh. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. So, my big interesting right now is I originally thought this final board was going to be a little bit low based off where like my other boards were lining up at. If anything, it's a little high, so that's fine. I mean, because if it's a little too high, I can cut it down. But yeah. I gotta say, I'm pretty happy with how this project has come together so far tonight. I've usually had really terrible, like, oh god, this is way too far awkward for me, which, I mean, we had a little bit. Otherwise, everything's managed. It's pulling together fairly well. And sorry about peeking the mic just now. Alright. So, the good news is, once I get a screw in it, I can kind of take a step back. And can I get some screws, please and thank you. Screws acquired. Installing screws. There we go. That's one side of the world done. Oh boy. The other side of the world is gonna be a little particulars. But I'm gonna grab me a fistful of screws, and I'm gonna take all you fine, wonderful people. And we're gonna head down to the other side of the world. Here. And we'll work on getting this one side installed. Yeah. So I've got a little bit of a warp to this board. So I'm going to go ahead and install screws that are going to go into my 2x4 here before I finish off the rest of my screws. had a bit of an overhang between the top board and the bottom one, but the top one's actually like thicker. Awesome. That's not going anywhere. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna do 2 more screws from my sides into my... Well, from the side of my pieces into the side of mine. Sorry, I can't make it like look very intuitive. But yeah, there we go. Man, what do I... Okay, so good news is we've got a cold frame. This thing is awesome. But I know I measured my raised beds before I built this, but still, this thing's like big. I mean, granted, let's see here. Because what's our internals? It should be like 31 and a half. Yep. One side of the world to the other should be like 70. At 70 inches. What? But yeah, okay, so now I have a great debate for myself, and that is whether or not to build the lid on stream. So problem is I know where part of that flat surface for that lid will come. Wait, how tall are you? You're like 30. Yeah, you're 34 inches. Actually, wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a second here. Let me see that. Let me see something. I gotta see something here. Ooh. That actually might be close enough. So, the good news is, for building the frame, this thing is basically is 33 and a half inches tall. This is 34 inches tall. So if I set this raised bed up on its like front side and have the table saw stick, and between this and the table saw, I should have more than enough surface area to assemble. But the thing is, right now, is I'm actually really debating how far I want to go today with the build. Because I am doing really good right now. I have a lot of good momentum. I'm just not entirely sure if I want to do the lid. Because if I do the lid, I'm going to have to set glass, and I haven't done... So I've never really, set glass in a project before, so I'm going to be big nervous about that. But yeah, this is basically the junction where we're at, is I want to think about whether or not I actually want to build that part yet. Because I have now hit we've just went over the 2-hour mark, and I think building that lid's probably going to at least take over a half hour or something. We might, who knows, I might bump it to Thursday stream. Also, my location on the rotation is going to get a whole lot of snow overnight tonight, so who knows, maybe work might get canceled, and I might gorilla. I don't count on that, though. Please don't count on that. But yeah. It looks like a cold frame now. It's assembled now. Honestly, I kind of wish I got a little bit further in the project last stream versus what we got today. But I do kind of want to get... So, I will say, honestly, if I'm debating it this much, I should probably consider ending stream, but I do want to give you guys a good view of what we've accomplished so far today. So, if I'm optimistic, I need to get that corner to turn. Yes! Bada bang! Bada boom! As far as that goes. But, there we go! There you go, chat. Behold, cold frame. Or at least the frame of the cold frame. So we've got, actually, I can show you glass. So, oh wow. Panes of glass just sit right on top. But we're gonna actually build like a nice proper frame for. Oh, yeah. Wow. Honestly, I would probably be pretty go ahead if, because we spent like 40 minutes. It's a little bit more supported on my sides. But we have gotten really far today. So I'm gonna call today good and be thankful for what I've done today. I'll probably work on finishing this. I don't know if I want to finish it on Thursday's stream because I'm building bird boxes, but I just don't know. I really don't know. But yeah. But yeah. This project will be finished on stream at sorry. At some point. I just don't know. I really don't know. I'm granted considering how much of a overlap I have here, because this is quite a bit. I might have, well, actually I could reset, because so the frame is going to be held to the lid is going to be held to basically this big wooden box I've made with these strap hinges. And I can actually adjust, sorry for the shininess, but I can actually adjust how far back this lid sits. But yeah, I mean, oh wow, this. Sorry, I'm kind of excited right now because like I now have built thing. It's kind of cool to have a built thing. But yeah, enough rambling. So I'm gonna go ahead and call today done at this. So I want to say big thanks to everyone out there who tuned in today. But yeah, we will be well, I don't. No wait, I'm going out of town this weekend. I will not be able to finish this on the weekend. That's why I'm not streaming this weekend. Silly goose. Okay, but yeah, next stream, Thursday, we'll be building birdhouses, and that is plural form because I have a ton of offcut scrap pieces like this piece here. I've got a ton of off scrap cedar pieces like this, and stay. And we'll be using some of these for the birdhouse builds. Well, practically all the birdhouses. And the reason why we're going to be building multiple birdhouses is because I want to, 1, create wildlife habitat. 2, lots of wildlife habitat. And 3, I think the birdhouse builds will go relatively quickly. So I'm thinking about building at least 2, if not 3, depending on how time goes. So that's going to be like one of the reasons why I'm going to finish up early today. And also, I do want to make sure I get a good rest tonight because I don't know what craziness my location on the rotation is going to be experiencing tomorrow morning. So big thanks to all who tuned in and put up with my awkward shenanigans of today's build. We had we had a few mistakes, but not a great deal, which is always great. I love it. Actually, I'm gonna get some Some thumbs up positivity there. But yeah. As far as like the the notch in the 2x4 game plan, I'm actually really happy with how well that turned out. And considering how well it turned out this time, this is basically a new oh, sorry about that. This is basically a new technique in my repertoire. So, yeah, character development. I love it. But yeah. So, in closing, I want to wish all of you people out there, may you have a wonderful morning, evening, or night, whatever it is, wherever you are, and whatever life throws at you, be sure to throw your best at it, because life is best lived when you put your utmost effort into it, which is kind of the reason why I do silly stuff like this, because to me, this is my idea of living my best life and throwing my best at life. And yeah, just make sure to take care of yourselves. And I will see all of you wonderful people on Thursday. Okay, bye-bye.